What's up, legends? Happy Thursday. We have a W formation. We're going to talk about it. Before I get into it, apologies if you can hear the roadworks and things going on outside. I don't know why we're having such a noisy week in Melbourne, but yeah, if you hear some buzzing, that's what it is. I apologize. I'm going to make this video super quick because we have been talking about these levels all week. And so if you want the further details, go back and watch the last two videos that explain exactly what we've been looking for. What I want to talk about on this video is, do we actually have a W formation forming right here? And does that mean the worst is over? We're going to get into that. We'll have a quick look at Ethereum as well. I'm going to give you some warnings about the rest of the week. So stay tuned. If you are new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Don't forget to smash that like, hit subscribe button. You know the deal. Leave a comment down below if you learned something new in this video. Now let's get right into it. As you can see, I have drawn the W formation on the 1 hour time frame with actually a lower low. Now, usually for a W formation, I like it to create a higher low. However, a W formation with a lower low is still technically a W formation. What it means is that when the market maker sent price down to this level in an attempt to trigger people to open short positions, they may not have collected as many contracts as they like. So they come down and issue a lower level to pick that up. It's very hard to identify, and that's why I normally don't trade that particular W pattern. However, in addition to this one, we did also get another one that played out as the multi-session W, which is what I've been talking about all this week. And that is right here, where we have the first peak formed in the UK session with a beautiful reversal formation. Then we came up and create the second peak in the US session. This usually leads to a highly probable trade. However, do we have a problem right now? In my opinion, yes, we do. Once the W formation is formed, step 2 is we need to break the 50 EMA. The way a W formation happens when it's the market maker behind it is we get a volume spike that stops the first peak of the W, which we can see down here we had it. The next time volume shows up is to break the 50 EMA. And as you can see here, this blue line here is the 50 EMA. The volume died down. That means that this price action happening currently is not the market maker behind it. They're letting retail do its thing. Not only that, we are in the dead gap zone as I film this, and market makers aren't playing right now. So price is moving up in the dead gap zone and volume is also dying off. One thing to note is now that the FOMC is over, that does not make us free of news event. Having a look at Forex Factory, we do tonight have another one, which is the unemployment claims and the manufacturing index. That's maybe a market mover. It's not the biggest concern. The biggest concern, in my opinion, is actually tomorrow night. This is all Melbourne time, just a reminder. Tomorrow night at 10:45 p.m., we have Fed Chair Powell speaks. This guy always ruins everything. Every time we have upside, this guy comes and takes it away. So this is the one to be worried about, in my opinion. And I have a feeling that this push may not last, and we may even get a weekend sell-off again. So of course, it depends on what he actually says. However, he's renowned for not saying anything good. So let's just keep that in mind. So the positives of this price action is we have a multi-session W formation. We have a break above the 50. The cons of this formation is that we have wicks to the upside forming and we have declining volume, and we're also in the dead gap zone. Now the 15-minute shows it a little bit more clearly, with price definitely struggling to break that resistance level of the W formation and the volume absolutely dying off here. And it also does look like we have a little bit of a bearish divergence with price going sideways, but the RSI heading down. So the thing is, when you get a divergence on a 15-minute time frame, the move that you would expect is relative to the time frame. So it could be that we have that divergence that's only going to lead to a pullback to maybe retest the 15-minute 50 EMA before another push up, or we may just go into the Asia session and move sideways for the whole Asia session and not make a move to the end. Here's what I would be watching for today if I wanted to get into a trade. During the Asia session, as we know, the usual goal of the Asia session is to set the high and the low of the day. So normally in a typical week, which we're not in a typical week this week, but in a typical week, the Asia session will just set the high and the low, will just consolidate. And considering we don't really have a news event until later tonight, which is not going to be a big one, but the bigger one is tomorrow, we may have a normal day today where the Asia session does just consolidate and sets the high and the low. But here's the thing, there's something else that happens in the Asia session which can usually set us up for the UK session, and that's what I want you to watch for today. Usually around 2 a.m. New York time, the Asia session, if it's been consolidating for the whole day, will issue an extension. That extension may go to the upside, it may go to the downside. So let's just imagine Asia holds this whole range today. The extension will break one of these ranges depending on where price is. So at around 2 a.m. New York time, we may get an extension to the upside, and then towards the end of the Asia session, that may pull back. The extension again may go to the downside, may extend down here, and then at the end of the session, pull back. This is your cue for a W or M formation. Now, again, providing that the Asia session consolidates until that time. So just keep that in mind. But around 2 a.m. New York today is what you want to be looking for, because what usually will happen next after that extension, if we get it today, is an M or a W formation is going to be formed in the next session. So if we got a break to the upside after 2 a.m. New York, and then we pull back into the end of the Asia session, which is 3 a.m. New York, and then UK opens and it creates a lower high towards the beginning of the UK session, that is an M formation multi-session reversal signal. That's what's going to give you the hint that this is a fake move to the upside and we're probably going to continue down. Now, that may not happen in Asia. The exact same formation could happen over UK into US. So just know that it has to be a multi-session M. So it can happen Asia into UK or UK into US, but this is what you want to be looking for to get a hint that this move up is actually the fake move. If it's not a fake move and it's a real move, the exact same thing can happen the other way, where 2 a.m. we get an extension to the downside, we pull back up at the end of Asia, 3 a.m., and then we create a higher low towards the beginning of UK. Again, that is a W formation, and we're looking then for a move further to the upside. And also that same thing can happen UK into US. So it's very, very simple today. Now that we've had this first move, the only thing we're waiting for is to work out, is it a fake move or is it actually the start of some upside until the end of the week? Now, looking at Ethereum quickly, this is what we talked about on yesterday's video. There was a inverse head and shoulder potentially forming. What I told you to look out for was either a failure to break the neckline or a lower high. And as you can see right here, this is where we got the lower high. That was your signal to short. The concern was that the volume was dying off at the time as well. And so in the end, this play here was the one that played out, almost back to exactly where my arrow was. So now we reset and have a new fresh look at what's going on with Ethereum. And we're basically in the same situation where we can see the multi-session W right here. We have the perfect candlestick reversal pattern that formed on the first peak of the W. That volatility that came right as the FOMC announcement was out. I could not stay up for this, so I don't know what it looked like live, but it would have been pretty exciting to watch. That did create the second peak W. But again, very, very similar to Bitcoin, we're struggling to break this previous high here at 1250. Let's go down to the 15-minute and see what details we can get from there. And again, on Ethereum, we do have the RSI divergence forming here. So again, being 15-minute time frame, that could just be a pullback divergence. There's potential that the high of the day has been set already in the dead gap zone, and we may now start to head down to set the low of the day. Once we've set both, we hope for consolidation, and then we're watching for that 2 a.m. Asia session extension. That's going to be your hint of what's happening next. Remembering that if we can get an M or a W over the Asia session into UK, then it's likely that we're going to have a normal UK session, which is running a trend. That gives you 6 hours to take a day trade and be out before US potentially reverses it. If UK into US happens to give us the M or W instead, then you would expect much more volatility and it's a lot more tricky to trade. And finally, on both Bitcoin and Ethereum, if the price comes down to break the 50 EMA on the 15-minute time frame during the Asia session, I would not worry as long as it continues to create a higher low in comparison to this one, because as I said, it could be issuing that W formation over a multi-session. So if price were to head down here, Asia session, we get a retest and then we get a higher low over UK, it's just a W before the next level rise. So wouldn't worry too much about that. However, it is very much dependent on getting that higher low in the next session. If we don't get it, then that trend is going to be down for the rest of UK. Don't forget our deal. If you learned something in this video, you must smash that like button, hit subscribe, turn the bell notification to all, and leave me a comment down below. And if you are looking for somewhere to trade, OKX is my preferred exchange. Be sure to grab the link in the description of this video because you can get up to $500 worth of sign-up bonuses and 15% off trading fees. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. My social media links are down below. Be sure to grab them only from there because there are many scam accounts out there. If anyone ever messages you pretending to be me, saying that I trade on your behalf or asking for money, just know that it's not me. I never ever do that. I don't have WhatsApp. I think that's the latest one going around. But yeah, I will never ever message you first. Follow me on my official Twitter link down below because if there is any emergency update between my YouTube videos, I will post an update there. That's it from me. Trade safe and have the most amazing weekend.